Hey everyone, welcome to Get Ready with me, Louise. So today we're going to be playing with the other Lisa Eldridge palette that I purchased, which is called Myth. I'm also wearing the Myth lip liner and lipstick. I will say, doing this eye, I felt really comfortable in it. I really actually liked it, which surprised me because I'm not really into like dark colors, but this was easy to use and self-explanatory kind of in a way, and it's dark but not dark. I don't know if I'm making sense. Now the lipstick, that's not me. This is too dark, too deep, too vampy. I think it's a beautiful color, just not on myself, but I do think it is pretty. But prior to putting that on, when I just had the eye look, I really do like this, even though it is a little bit darker than I usually go. Um, I actually liked it a lot, to be honest, and that did surprise me. So today, like I said, we're going to be playing with the Myth palette. And again, the packaging looks just like this. It's beautiful packaging. And then this is the color story we're going to be playing with. So it's a very pretty color story. I didn't use all of the colors in the palette, but I used a good bit of them. What I'm going to do is we're just going to start with this shade right here, this gray type shade. And I'm just going to point to the colors. That way you can see them, because I'm not for sure on how to read the back of them, to be honest. And I'd rather just point, that way you can just see. I knew that the other palette and lipstick was like my color story. You know what I mean? Like, I felt comfortable in it. I don't mind wearing it. I enjoyed it all day. This one, on the other hand, it did kind of intimidate me at first when I was looking at it. I'm not going to lie. But as I was doing the eyeshadow look, it kind of grew on me. And you really don't have to take it as dark as it could go, like, because I didn't. But it's up to you on how deep and dark you really want it. Um, I like it right here. That right here is good to me, I feel. But everybody's different, so I do get that. But I want to feel comfortable wearing, my eyeshadow look. And I did enjoy this look. Now the lipstick, like I said, as far as like the lip liner, the lip gloss, the lipstick, it's all a very nice formula and a beautiful color. Just not on me. Just not on me. That's all. We're gonna go into this dark. It's black, but it's not. It's like a really dark. I want to say like a gray purple is kind of where I want to take it and say that it is. I don't know if you can really see that color or not. It's very pretty. And you can see how easily it is to use. Like, it did scare me, I'm not gonna lie. Dark colors do scare me. But this one, it really don't. And even with the last palette, the gradient effect that you get with these palettes, I think, are wonderful. Now, what I will say is they're expensive. And do I necessarily think they're worth that price point? I don't know, to be honest. For me, I'm going to say yes, in the sense of, like I said, it's pretty self explanatory on how to use it. The colors work wonderful together. And because of that, it makes it an easy look to create. You know what I mean? So for that reason, I'm going to say yes. Now, Can you achieve the same look with other palettes? Yes, yes you can. I'm going to take that same dark shade I just used on that outer corner and I'm going to run it along the lower lash line. You definitely can achieve this look using other palettes. I mean, I have other palettes, you know, that I could achieve this same look with. I don't think I'd be as comfortable using it. And I'm not so sure the look would turn out as good just because I wouldn't be comfortable, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that somebody else couldn't do it. So do keep that in mind. But if you're a beginner or, you know, just, or somebody that's just doing their everyday makeup, I do think these palettes are pretty, you know, but it does come with a hefty price tag. I'm not gonna lie. But it does make a beautiful look, I'm gonna tell you now. I'm going back into that first shade. I mean, she really did a good job at picking the colors to go in these palettes. I'm not going to deny that at all. I mean, she did a wonderful job. These shades just, I mean, really, they got a mind of their own, to be honest with you. I'm not even going to lie. Alright, I'm going to take this darker purple shade right here. And I'm going to put it right up on the lash line. Basically did this just to see, you know, how purple this was. And it's going to be a nice dark purple, but it's a very pretty. I do think you're going to get two types of looks with this palette. You can either go like more purpley or more like gray in a sense. And I kind of like that you get two different types of looks in a sense. I'm going to go in with this shade right here now on the lid. And we're just going to pat it on the lid. It's more like a pat and pull. I didn't spray it. I didn't add any kind of glitter glue or anything like that. I'm just... And these shades are very soft. Like, it is metallic, no doubt there. But it's like a very soft metallic. I do think these palettes give you a more sophisticated look at the color story. At least that's the way I feel. I'm going to take this shade right here and I'm just going to go into the inner corner with it. And this is a really pretty. It's more like a topper, to be honest, but to try to make this an all-in-one palette, I used it as an inner corner. But if you topped it over a shade, I think it'd also be pretty. But it does kind of work as my inner corner. It kind of brightens it up for me. I don't know if it would for every skin tone or anything like that, but for myself, it works. Although, technically, if I was doing this look, I probably would have just used my highlighter that I use for my cheeks for my inner corner. But since we're, you know, doing this palette, I decided to keep it with the palette, you know. And I didn't get any fallout either using the palettes, which is nice. It's always nice when you don't get fallout. But, like, I don't know if you can see, but, like, these shades just truly blend themselves. And I'll be honest, this isn't a color story, like I said, I wear often. It's really not. I'm going to take that dark purple shade here that I used for my lower lash line, and I'm going to actually now put it on my top lash line. Just right up on the lash line. I'm just going to push it into that. I don't know. This isn't revolutionary by no means, but it is kind of special. And the only thing, again, a lot of stuff, the only thing that holds me back is price point. Like, is it 68? I think it's $68 US. Is it $68 special when there's other palettes on the market? That's my only issue with it. I don't know. I think that's just an individual decision you'll probably have to make. And I'm going to have to say that I must think it is, personally, because I'm thinking about ordering another palette. And that says something. But I do think, A, if there's a color story you like, I think that you will like the palette. And if there's a color story that maybe you like but you're scared of, I think that these palettes might come in handy because it makes the color story user friendly, to be honest. I feel. Especially after using that first palette, like I knew going into this one, like, if it's the same shadows, I'm going to be okay. And because of that, I was able to create the look that I created without being scared of the colors. You know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense here. I think I am, but it's also hard to tell if I'm making any sense at all. So let's go ahead in with mascara. For my top lashes, I'm going to use the It Cosmetics Superhero mascara. For the waterline, I just use the Tarte Fake Awake. And I will say, if you're just wanting to, like, spoil yourself with a new palette, I think you'll get the feels for these. As in, it'll make you feel special. Like, the packaging, the whole experience, really. And how pretty it looks on your vanity, like, all that. I think also may warrant that $68 price tag, to be honest. Because the shopping experience, the shipping, all of it, the packaging, it was all very nice. Okay, there's my top lashes. Boy, these lashes look a lot better than the other side, don't they? Interesting. I'm going to go in with the Lancome Deaf and Seals for the bottom lashes. And I'm barely just putting a coat on my bottom lashes, to be honest. I don't know. There is something about this eyeshadow that just, I think, makes it look pretty. But it could just be, like I said, because I feel comfortable in the look. It wasn't hard to make the look, other than the lipstick. I don't feel comfortable in this lipstick. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not into this. Generally I'm not into vampy looks at all. But I could do the eyeshadow and be comfortable, walk out and live my life. You know what I mean? Not so much with the lipstick, because if it's a darker lipstick, I get weary of it because I feel like it's going to go all over my face. It just me. And I tend to make a mess with it. Again, myself, whether it be drinking, eating, whatever, I tend to always make a mess. So I do like the lighter side of lipsticks for the most part. However, if I was going to choose this color, for whatever reason, I would choose this liner and lipstick and gloss because I do think it is pretty. I do think it wears well. I can definitely see where she was going with the eyeshadow palette being the inspiration for the lipstick, because I do think they match well. But just for me personally, and the way I feel, like the lipstick isn't it for me. But it's not going to be it for me for any look either. So that's why I'm saying don't count that against the lipstick or anything, because the formula is wonderful. I love her liners and her lipsticks, and I do like her lip glosses too. So with that said, like, don't count that. Like, if you're buying the eyeshadow palette and you want the lipstick, I think it'll look great if that's the look you're going for and you're comfortable in. With every look, you got to be comfortable in it. So, but generally I wouldn't feel comfortable in this look, but for whatever the reason, I actually do. I like the eyeshadow look. The colors were easy to use. It was pretty much self-explanatory as far as like looking at the palette and going, what color should I start with? Again, you're going to either go more gray or more purple, I feel like, in your look. But I feel like this palette does give you some versatility on which way you want to go, or both. You know what I mean? You can have both colors in for all that matters. But I really do like the look. I really do like this palette. I feel more comfortable in the other palette, but I feel like this palette gives me something I don't have, because I really don't have a palette that I can go into to create this look and feel comfortable in. So with that said, it's like I kind of feel like this palette's the palette I should choose. You know what I mean? Let me go ahead and give you some swatches on the back of my hand of the palette so that you can see the colors yourself. And again, I will say the palette does not swatch well I don't think so at all. Neither one of them, really. But I do think that it performs well in the eyes, and in all honesty, that's all that really matters, if you ask me. As long as it performs well on the eye. Especially like the topper shade, it does not swatch good at all. I'm not even going to pretend like it does. Which is the shade that I used in the my inner corner. It does not swatch well at all. But it looks very nice on the inner corner. And of course, if you used a brush or sprayed it, it may be a whole different story there too. But like I said, trying to put it on my hand, it's not working that well for me, to be honest and fair. But I still want to try, you know, because I do think this is a very pretty palette. And it doesn't have to swatch well, in my opinion, as long as it performs well on the eye. Let me wipe off my fingers. The two purples could very well stain also, so please be aware of that. But even with that said, it's like not a big deal. I'm going to use this hand though real quick just to show you this topper shade, because it really doesn't sit on the lid very well. I don't know if you're going to see that or not. Hold on. Okay, I think I got it on my finger. Okay, that's the topper shade. Okay, and it doesn't swatch well. I mean, you just really can't see it. I'm hoping you're going to see it on my hand. It's right here. But you did see it on my finger. It is so pretty. And I do think if you topped it over like one of these other, like either one of these purples, especially this one here, I think it'd be really pretty if you topped it over that. But, oh, let me show you the palette. Might help you, huh? So that's the first row. And then that's the second row. And it's just, it is a very pretty palette. And if this is a color story that you think you would like, I think you would like it. I do. I don't think you'll have any problem at all out of these palettes. By no means. Let me try one thing. I'm going to try to pick up that pink shade with a brush. That like topper shade I was talking about. And see if I can't lay it down on my hand that way. It's pinky, but it's not really doing much that way either. A little bit more maybe. See, you just can't see it. It's between these two. And I don't think that's going to show you either, really. I just don't know how to explain it. I mean, I think you could see it on my inner corners of my eye. And I keep tapping it, but actually, let's try this. Let me try to tap it over that one shade that I just said. This one here. I'm going to try to tap it over that and see if we can see a difference. Just for funsies. A little bit. You can see it, but not much. I don't know. It does perform well on the eyes, though, so just know that. Like I said, that's all that really matters. Swatches do help, but they're not they're not everything either. But anyway, that is all I have for you today. I hope this video helped in some way. Again, do be careful with some of the shades because they could stain your hand or your lid for that matter. But all in all, I'm really impressed with both of these palettes. Again, this is more my color story and it's easy to use, all that good stuff, just like this one. But I can almost create a look like this with other palettes and feel comfortable. You know what I mean? I still think this is an easy palette to use. Don't get me wrong. But I can definitely create somewhat of the same look using another palette and not have any difficulty. However, with that said, the darker palette, I do feel like I'm more comfortable using this palette than other palettes when it comes to these shades. So, again, it's just preference. But I will say, regardless, I do really enjoy both of these palettes. And I truly am thinking about getting at least one more, maybe two, maybe three. But they're pricey so much, and luckily these aren't limited edition, so they're in her collection, so I can purchase them when I have the money. So that is my plan, technically. At some point, I will own all 5. But for now, these are the 2 that I started with, knowing this one would definitely be my everyday palette. and hoping that this is something that I will use, and it turns out that I will. So, with that said, I hope it helped. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, hit all. That way you're notified when I do upload. I upload every day but Sunday. And I know I talked a lot. I didn't mean to, but I did, as always. Again, I'm not a makeup artist, so truly take my words as a grain of salt. I'm just a consumer of makeup, a beginner. But I will see you in the next one. And until then, stay safe and healthy. Bye.